Okay, so today is the day I just want to provide some more updates. It's didn't always feel well, just feeling like I'm catching up on life again. I wanted to talk about my port. So right here, when I turn my head, you can see kind of like a tendon looking thing. That's and when I push, you can see that it indents. So it's there's a tubing that's there and it goes to this port thing. And when maybe with the lighting, you can see there's dots. So there's 3 dots, and that helps the nurses know where to puncture in through my skin. And so right in the middle of those 3 dots is where they're supposed to aim. And it's just this little thing that they sewed. It's like a little receptacle that can hold stuff. And so they cut me right there, installed it, and then they went up and they ran a line and into my jugular. So with ports, one of the good things about a port is that it protects your veins, because they try to get medicine going into one of the largest blood supplies. So a port often is directly into your jugular. Sometimes they'll put them into a different, I don't know, human anatomy to know. I think sometimes right into a different one that's like right into your heart. There's a thing also called a PICC line that maybe you've seen people have, where they have tubing taped to them and on their arm, and it's got like stuff that hangs off it. That's another thing that gives them quick access to veins. So this port they installed before my chemo, because the chemo is so damaging and my veins sometimes are hard to get just for regular AVs and things. And so to protect my veins and my arm from collapsing, they installed a port, and I'm so grateful that they did. So it requires the surgery to do it. The surgery was just about an hour long. I had it installed in January of 2020, and about an hour long. It felt really weird for the first couple weeks. I just felt, I was so sure if I turned too fast that it was going to rip out. And especially when they say it lives in your jugular, it's kind of sketchy. But it was good. I just felt stiff, a little sore. I was afraid to turn or jerk or whatever, and then over time you just totally forget that you have it. One of the things I wish I would have done first, so if you need to get a port, what I would recommend that you do is make sure that you're scheduled for regular appointments for getting it flushed automatically. They didn't automatically set that up for me, mainly because I was having chemo every 3 weeks. And so it was being used often enough, and every time it's used, it needs to be flushed with, I think they say heparin. That's probably the wrong word. Anyway, they flush it with this medicine to help it not get all clotted and gross and stuff. So you're supposed to have it flushed regularly, like every 4 to 6 weeks, unless it's being accessed. And so for a while, it was being accessed for my chemo, and then I had them use it for my surgery. They're not always able to use ports for surgery. I learned that too. But they were able to do it for me. It worked out. They told me that I might wake up with an IV in my arm. I didn't. But now that I'm not having intravenous stuff happening all the time, I have to remember to go get it flushed. And it's super easy. I just call my local nurses station and just let them know I need an appointment to get it flushed. I schedule an appointment. I show up. They access it, make sure it's still connected to where it should be, and then they flush it with medicine, and then it's good for another month. Now that I no longer need it, I've just asked that they remove it. So I'm going to have my port removed in December. My type of port, I don't know if it's this for all of them, but with mine, they're just going to do it in the office. They just do local anesthetic, because I'm not going to be put to sleep. And they say that they'll just numb my skin, and that it's only held in by some stitches right here. So they'll numb my skin, cut it open, pull it out, and I'll be done with it. And so I figure that if my cancer isn't really gone, we hope that it is, all signs look good. There's just no way of knowing what microscopic disease might be in my body. But anyway, if it ever comes back, I figure they can just install a new port, because we won't know for years. And so they're going to take it out, and then I don't have to worry about it. Because you don't want to get an infection in your bloodline. It could be really bad. You could get septic and die. So they like to keep it clean and keep it accessed and all that sort of thing. So anyway, there's a little bit about a port, in my opinion.